How's it going, everybody? First watch Attack on Titan Season 1 review with RotisserieiJamie. Today, on the Razman's Reality. That's right, I got a special live, well, it will be edited, but it was recorded live edition of First Watch Reviews today as I'm here with my best friend, RotisserieiJamie, who got me in to this show. As today we're going to be talking about Season 1 of Attack on Titan. Now, if you're a new subscriber and don't know the premise of this series, it's exactly what the title suggests. It's a series of videos where I watch something for the first time, whether it be a movie or a TV show or a documentary or whatever it is, and I give my reviews straight out of the gate as soon as I finish watching it, just to have it fresh in my mind. So I just finished Attack on Titan yesterday around 7:54 p.m., like literally 5 minutes before Monday Night Raw. So I think that's about as fresh as you can get, because obviously I didn't want to miss Raw. So first of all, Jamie, talk about why you wanted me to get into the show. And this is normally something I don't have, is somebody here to say, hey, why did I tell my friend to watch the show? Because this entire series is usually based on recommendations from friends.
Well, I wanted you to get into it because I absolutely loved the show, and I wanted somebody as a friend to get into it also. And I wanted to rewatch it because I'm patiently waiting for season 2 to come out, and we have to wait again. Don't even get me started. We have to wait again for season 2 to come out. But I really wanted you to watch it because it's something really different, and I think it's really unique, the show, you know?
It is. It's very unique. And the thing, one of the things that I guess is the easiest to talk about, like we'll try to do a little bit of a non-spoiler review in the beginning, and then we'll give people like a warning to tune out if they haven't seen the show yet. One of the best things I think about this show is just how you immediately feel so invested in these characters right from the very beginning. I was really surprised at how right from the very first episode you immediately know who you're supposed to feel for and how you're supposed to get invested into this world. That doesn't happen very much.
No. And I am not a huge anime fan. I would like to get into more anime, but I literally like 2 animes, and Raz knows how much I'm not really into a lot of TV, or I like to watch a lot of YouTube. So for me, not that I'm, some sort of celebrity or high profile critic, but for me to like something, it has to be pretty good. And I fell in love with Attack on Titan. I first saw it on Teens React for the Fine Brothers, and I got really interested in it. So I started watching clips, and then I watched season 1 in a day. So I got hooked on it immediately. That's what Raz was just talking about, how episode 1, you immediately get like invested in it. And that's what happened to me. And I just got completely hooked on it. So I'm not, like I was saying, I'm not a big anime fan, but I absolutely am obsessed with this anime. Obsessed. I love it. And I'm not normally into a lot of stuff. Besides, I love WWE. I love, The Walking Dead, and I love some other shows too. And I've always liked Naruto, but for this anime, I'm absolutely in love with this anime. I love it. And Raz, for him to get into something like that was actually really surprising, but I thought I'd take a shot and let him see it. And he fell in love with it too. So, what was your first impressions when you saw it?
I did. Well, again, as you were saying, for me, Anime has never been my thing. The only quote unquote anime, and I specify quote unquote because I'm not a novice when it comes to correct terminology. I know that technically it's not an anime because it wasn't filmed in Japan, but it was done in anime style and a tribute to the way the animes are done. And that is the first incarnation of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Not Legend of Korra, not anything else, but The Last Airbender. And I absolutely love that. So I wasn't a stranger to the anime concept, and it was something I always wanted to try. But you get busy, and then you try to find, where's the best place to start and things like that. So Attack on Titan was something I kept hearing about, but I was like, it looks really violent, looks really gross. I don't know if it's my thing, but when I had both Zaren Isaac and you, especially who I spend more time with than a lot of my friends, tell me, oh no, you will absolutely love this. Like that is what convinced me. So as far as first impressions go, I just was blown away by the complexity of it. I mean, it's not a story, and I guess this is the point now where we'll say this, and I'll let Jamie say whatever she can say about it, and then we'll move on. If you have not seen Attack on Titan,
You need to.
see it. It will. It's something that will really surprise you. If you like complexity, if you like shows that make you think, then this is the kind of show for you. You're never gonna know where this show is going. Just when you think you figured something out, it'll flip the script on you and go somewhere else. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for the non-spoiler portion. Unless you have something else you can add to that.
No, just if you're not an anime fan, I would highly recommend Attack on Titan. Raz and I aren't in normally the anime world. I do know terms, and because a lot of my friends are huge anime fans, and I have liked Naruto for a long time, so I am familiar with things. Although I wouldn't categorize myself as an anime fan because I watched two animes. But like I was saying, I don't really get into anything, and I do like a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong, and I don't really watch a lot of anime, although I would like to. And like Raz was saying, we're not really in the anime world, so but we got hooked on Attack on Titan, and I'm so excited for season 2. I swear, if it gets pushed back one more time, I'm going to kill somebody. When I was talking about this to Raz, this was before Raz watched it. He was like, "Oh, it'll come out, and we gotta be patient, and trying to help me." And he was like, "Oh, it'll be okay, and it takes a long time." Now that he watched it, he's like, "Where's season 2?" So,
Right, exactly.
I'm
Because
excited for it.
it is that kind of a show, and I want you to go more into that later on. But now is the point where we got to talk about the plot line in order to effectively do this discussion slash review. So, if you do not want spoilers, if you're taking our recommendation and gonna go check this out on Netflix or on Crunchyroll, turn the video off now and come back to this review at a later point. I'm going to give you a countdown from 5, and if you're still here, then you want to hear everything else, okay? So 5, 4, 3, 2,
1.
1. All right. So this story, oh my gosh, the idea of a world where you literally are overrun by giant creatures who do nothing but eat you for sport. I was just blown away by something that on the surface to me sounded completely ludicrous. Like it sounded like it's something that would make no sense at all. But
or
then
be stupid and corny.
exactly,
Not.
exactly. And then like I said in the beginning part, right from the very beginning, you become invested in it because the first person that you see eaten by a Titan is the mother of a little boy who they've established as the main character. I mean, that is just brilliant writing. So you asked me a minute ago what my first thoughts were watching it. I was like, this is how you need to write a show. We come from WWE usually when we do joint videos and reviews. This is something that the WWE writers need to borrow from. They need to learn how to immediately get you invested in a character the way these writers did. So that was impression number one. Impression number two was just the quality of the animation and the acting. I mean, for it to be completely in a foreign language and for me to have to watch subtitles the entire time, but not really think about it and treat it the same way that I would treat watching a show or a film in the English language is a huge compliment to it. I wasn't ever annoyed by it. I wasn't ever taken out of it because it was speaking a different language. I mean, we joked as we were watching it, did stuff like made up our own version of the theme song and things like that. But it doesn't take away from the complexity and the overall power of the story. And it's not just the threat of, oh, these creatures are going to eat us, so we have to keep from being eaten. It's the reasons why people have to fight and the different levels of characters that you run into as far as motivations. Like you have Aaron, who is motivated to
just slaughter the Titans,
Exactly. Because of what happened from his mother's death. And then you have other soldiers who are motivated because they just want humanity to be better off. And then you have ones that are motivated from their own personal tragedy. And then you have characters who are motivated by nothing but greed and power, too. I mean, you just have everything in this show. So that to me is what drew me in and kept me going with it. As a person who's a veteran of this show, what was it for you that kept you coming back to it over and over again? Because as you previously mentioned, that's not usually something that you'll do, let alone do it more than once.
Exactly. Well, for other shows, like when you see reruns and stuff, it's not that it wasn't good, but it's just kind of like it has to be something new every time, for certain shows. But for Attack on Titan, I could go back and watch it again, and that's how much I love it. But I initially saw it, like I was saying, on the Fine Brothers, and what really attracted me to it was the action, was just how different it was, and just the animation. And what I also loved about rewatching it again, and then rewatching it with somebody who hasn't seen it before, I wanted to see how you reacted to certain things, or if you caught on what I caught on certain things, or if you noticed right away, or if it took you longer than I did, or like what you noticed and what you didn't notice. And then I wanted to see how you reacted to it. I didn't react sometimes because I didn't want to spoil it, but I reacted after you reacted, or I reacted as if I didn't know, which I already did. So that's what I loved about rewatching it too.
And this is why I wanted you here for this review, and what I love about watching shows with friends or matches with friends or whatever the case is, because when you have somebody there to go off of, it makes the experience more enjoyable. And it definitely made the experience more enjoyable for you because you were watching a show just like I watch every single show I'm into. Like, I try to get you into shows all the time. And hopefully after we finish our next plans, which I'll save for the end of this review because I know it'll make a lot of my viewers happy, and they'll be like, oh my god, finally he's doing that. So I'll save that for the end of the review as a teaser. But when we get done with those plans, I'm hoping that you'll take one of my recommendations, because as you said, that's just a lot of fun to have somebody analyze things with and question things with. And like, at the end of this, I want to talk about where we think this is going. And that to me is the best part of having somebody to experience things with.
Well, also, the good thing is, even though I've seen it, there's things I still don't know because it's only season 1.
Right.
We still have season 2, and I don't know how far the manga is, if I'm saying that right. Please don't kill me if I'm not saying that right. But the manga is ahead of the anime, and they're still, I think, I don't know how far they are for season 2 or if they've created it or whatever the case may be. But there's things that we still don't know, and even the characters don't know. Yes, we won't find out until a later day. And obviously, if we found out now, the series, there would be no series. But I also liked in the story how we pretty much were going along for the ride with these characters. You know, it's almost like we were there too. That's how good this show is. You know what I'm trying to say? We were kind of there along for the ride. Like, we found out, like, we don't know. Like, Raz was asking me all these questions, and I was like, you know, we actually still don't know. I was like, through the more information is known throughout the series, and that's how our knowledge grew throughout the series, is we literally only knew what they knew, and our knowledge grew throughout the series. So, like we didn't know anything about the Titans. When we first watched it, you just know that they eat people. And then you learn, like, you know, they don't have a digestive system. They don't have a gender. Their bodies look a certain way, but they're not female or male. But that's how, as humans, identify certain things, you know, by body features and all that. And then we find out, you know, they don't eat humans for food. They don't actually need to eat or drink at all. And then also that there's every imaginable different type of Titan. So you learn different things about the Titans as you grow through the series and through the characters, and you progress along with the characters too.
And that's where I was going to go next, is that's one of the things that really, really surprised me, because on the surface you think, oh, well, they're just eating people for nourishment. Once you get eaten, you're dead, right? But that wasn't the case at all, because A, they don't have stomachs, so they don't need to eat to live. They eat for sport, it appears, which is a big mystery as to why they do that. And then the other thing you learn, in the most dramatic way possible, because it happens to the main character who ends up surviving, is that getting eaten doesn't always mean that you die, because certain people have the ability to actually turn into what are known as Titan shifters and actually become Titan forms themselves, and have subsequently used that in Aaron's case to stop the Titans, and in the case of Annie as a spy in Titan form for what appears to be the government. And I can't tell, is she trying to bring down the Titans? Is she trying to make the Titans thrive? Like, we only got really 2 or 3 episodes with her revealed as the female Titan, so her motivation is still way up in the air. So that's something we can speculate on later. But yeah, that was a big thing about this show that's so different from other shows, is it wasn't just one thing that was how you're supposed to accept the reality of the situation. It was, you have this element and this element and this element and this motivation, that motivation, that motivation. It makes it so different and so unique.
Exactly. I also think it's really interesting that to quote one of the characters, is just when, not word for word, but just when we think we knew something about the Titans, they, you know, surprise us even more. So, like, the Titans were eating the Titan shifters. If you notice that, the Titans don't attack each other, but they attack Titan shifters. So that's, like, you know, another
so
thing
when
to
the
it.
Titan shifters were first revealed, it was like, wait a minute, a Titan is fighting a Titan. This is not the norm. This makes no sense.
No, they usually are slaughtering humans and eating them.
And then, you know, as it went on, when Annie got revealed as the female Titan toward the end, you had the armored Titan ability appeared for the first time. And then during the final battle, yeah, this is literally a first watch review, so we're jumping all over the place in discussion here, but that's the beauty of this series, and I know that's why you all like it. In the final battle, we learn that Aaron has an inferno ability. Like, he's basically a walking inferno. So it appears that every Titan shifter has...
Yeah, they have a certain ability unique to them.
Yeah, which is really, really interesting, because I want to see more Titan shifters. I want there to be, different abilities that each Titan shifter has because to me, I don't see how the Titans can be defeated without the help of Titan shifters. It
I just
doesn't.
also want to point out that there are many theories as to why Titans eat humans, and that we're talking in terms of season 1 only. I know for a lot of stuff we're speculating on, there are already answers for, or there's even stuff that you guys still don't know. But because I know people, you know how people get. I know people in the comments are going to tell us, well, this is already revealed, or I know this, or I know that. We're strictly talking in terms of season 1. So, like, if I was watching this for the first time, too, I would only have knowledge for season 1. And anyway, there's only season 1 out. And Raz and I don't read the manga. So, we're strictly only on season 1. I've seen not seen spoilers, but I know stuff about, other seasons, and I know who the other Titan shifters are. I don't remember their names, but I know who they are. Please don't comment any spoilers or anything. We're speaking strictly on season 1. And also, yeah, as far as we know, there's 4 Titan shifters, and we know how Eren got his powers. It's through his dad. I don't know how the other 3 did, and obviously it'll be revealed later and who they are. We know it's Annie and Eren, but we don't know who the other 2 are, with the Colossal and the Armor Titan, or what their motivations were. I know there are already answers for that. I'm very aware of that, but we're talking in terms of only right now.
Right. If you know this channel, you know it's all about film, television, and professional wrestling. That's usually all it's about. It is about comics, and I will read books from time to time, but especially with a story like this has a direct correlation for me with Game of Thrones, and something that I'll mention at the end of the episode. It's the kind of thing where the story is so good as it's presented on television that I don't want to know anything else about the story until I'm done watching it on television, because I think that will ruin the experience.
Exactly. It's the same for The Walking Dead. Like, there's a whole huge comics out even before the show even was presented. I don't want to read the comics until after the series ends, because I don't want spoilers. And although they don't follow the story, they don't follow the comic book all the time, I still don't want to know. So same for this. I want to kind of, watch it as the show comes out, which was Roz was getting at. So a lot of the stuff we're speaking in terms, like I'm saying, in season 1. So, like, what's the motivation? They might have already said it for some of them, but what's the motivation for, some of the other Titans? Why is Annie after Eren? I mean, it's probably obvious to some people, but we're talking in terms of not experienced anime watchers and from only season 1.
I want to talk specifically about, you mentioned Annie, I want to talk specifically about her for just a second here, because she was the most surprising twist to me in the show, because when you first meet her, she's a very forgettable character. Like, when they reveal her story arc in the latter part, I mean, you remember yesterday morning, as we were starting to get into that at that point, I literally asked you, have we seen this character before? Because I felt like I should know this character, but the way they present her when you first see her, she's like, oh, well, this is just another trainee, and this girl's nothing. We're never going to see this girl again, because what they have her say and do is that she's only doing what she needs to do to survive, and she doesn't even care about fighting or anything like that. And she's picking the military police, which is the least, in your face way of survival, because she just wants no confrontation at all. So to go from that to having her be a spy Titan was just completely like, holy crap. I never saw that coming. So
right, the military police, only the 10 top candidates that graduate are able to be in the military police, and obviously you can choose 3. So people want to choose the military police because you're in the last inner wall, and you don't really have to do as much. and you're pretty much safe because there's the outer, the middle, and then the inner. And everybody wants to be in the inner, but obviously not everyone can pile into the inner. So that's why, from the beginning, my first impression of her, when they were explaining her, that she kind of looked like a not very nice, but very dormant and very like doesn't want to be bothered type of character. And then I kind of, not that I suspected her of anything, but although I was kind of a little bit spoiled because I watched Teens React. But as the series got on, I think you kind of got a little bit more suspicious of her because of the way that she was talking, like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm afraid. She is a really actually very intelligent and a bad butt killer. So that's when it started to get suspicious. But Annie only did that because, to not suspect her of anything. And she could kind of hide away in the gate and then kind of go off as she pleased. Because she's the one that killed the two specimens, or whatever you want to call them, test subjects. What, Sonny and Bean, whatever their names are. Yeah, so she's the one that killed them. And if you want to add anything.
Well, I think that what I was asking the question for was, and you kind of answered it in a roundabout way, but because the way you put it, but to me, I was completely surprised. Like, I thought the writing was so good that they made her come off as a completely throwaway character that you weren't supposed to care about. Unlike Aaron, unlike Levi, these characters that you immediately get invested in, and it just felt like she was just there. But then to have her end up being the most important, I guess, for lack of a better way to put it, in terms that people will understand from a mass standpoint, villain of the series was just a complete, like, whoa. I mean, is that the way you saw it, or did your experience with the React video kind of ruin that for you, or?
I don't think it ruined it, but I only saw parts of everything, and it made no sense to me at all because obviously I wasn't watching. But when I watched it, I started to put like 2 and 2 together. So I guess I had more of like a hint, not a spoiling than you did, because you just went straight to watching it. But no, I don't think it ruined it for me because I still didn't know until the end, or suspected like they did towards the end. But no, it wasn't ruined for me because I didn't know when I started watching. I didn't really know what was going on when I started watching. I learned as I went on too, but I knew a little bit more because of Teens React. But they didn't really spoil anything big. They just did the trailers. Like, you ought to, like, I already knew the mother was gonna die because you see it in the trailers, and they show it to you anyway. But I didn't know whose mom that was or who that really was. But you knew someone was dying. But my initial thought of her was, wow, she's a jerk. that was my first initial reaction. And she was very like a dormant, like laid back character. But I was like, there's no way that she's afraid, because she had no emotion when she spoke. Like, so she was like, oh, I'm afraid. I can't do that. Like, oh, I'm going for the military police. I didn't, and I was just like, not that I thought she was hiding something, but I thought that like that sounds very suspicious, because she's a very like not like a very kick butt character. Like, I know because they didn't spend too much time on her, but you know how the guy that was training them said, like, Armin, not very strong, but has a very high IQ. Aaron doesn't hold any particular, skill, but has an amazing, like, what's the word for it? An amazing ability to just thrive and just a motivation. And then, they said Annie doesn't play well with others, and it's like, well, I could see that, and how, but she's very skilled in something. So you knew she had technique, and she was really good. So when I first saw it, I was like, why would she waste away her talent like that just to be, in the military police where you literally don't have to do anything. You live in protection. But then obviously it made more sense as the end. It was to protect herself from being suspicious about being the Titan. Because everyone only knew about Aaron. So
Right. Well, that's a beautiful answer. That's perfect. So let's talk about Aaron. I know that he's supposed to be like the star of the show. Like he's supposed to be the clear focal point, the character that you're invested the most in. But I think that Armin is really the star of the show. Like
he's so smart.
as far as who you should be invested in, because without him, where would Aaron or anybody else be? Without his brain, they would all be eaten by Titans a long, long time ago.
I feel like they're such a good team though, because Aaron is kind of the one that has the amazing ability to just function and thrive no matter what. Mikasa has the absolute skill in terms of everything but protection. I feel like she's the protection. Aaron's the one that just keeps everyone going, and Armin's the brains. And the three of them together make a killer team.
They do. They're perfect together. And I know you have something you want to say about this, so I'll go ahead and transition to it and let you get it out because you were ranting and raving about it before as we were watching the show. There are certain characters who within the show who seem to think that Mikasa has a thing for Aaron, and I know you have a very big problem with that. And
So originally, how Aaron and Mikasa met was that they met a little bit before for, I guess, checkups. Aaron's father is like the doctor, the big doctor for everything. And I think he was coming for annual checkups or something for the family, and they were waiting. And so then there was a knock at the door. And it turns out to be obviously not good people because they stabbed the dad. And then the mom, which really a bad idea to go flying up to somebody like that. Because the first reaction for somebody is to hit. And I wouldn't go after someone that has a weapon in their hand, especially an axe. But obviously then there would be no story after that if everything was all happy dandy all the time. But and then he took the axe and slit her throat, and blood went everywhere. And then Aaron saved her by killing. I mean, that was like so gruesome. It was great, but I was like, geez, these kids are bad butt. But they've been through a lot, and she's been through a lot. And then that's when they adopted each other. Well, not each other, but that's when they adopted her. They're family, but I think she has such a close bond with Aaron because he saved her, and because he saved her life and he took her in, and they grew up together, and that's why she has an unwavering love and dedication for him. I don't think it's in terms they adopted her, so they're siblings. So it would be a little creepy for them to be a thing. But yeah, no, I don't think the characters were saying your lover. It's like they're step siblings. Like that's really, I mean, they don't know, but that's really creepy. Well, they've been through everything together, and Mikasa has been through a lot, and so has Aaron. And so for them, they have that connection. They just have a really big connection. And then obviously their childhood friend who they grew up with, Armin.
let's talk about Levi because I know Levi is one of your favorite characters. What do you like about Levi?
He's like the Daryl Dixon of The Walking Dead in terms of like popularity. I like him because he is one of the characters that I feel like he had probably like all the characters had something traumatic happen to him, which why he drives to do what he does. It was either him or it was him. How he keeps like this nothing on his face, but deep down he's like he is hurting, and he just doesn't want to show that emotion. But we know he has emotion because he's human. But I also like him because he's just a bad butt. My gosh, he took out so many Titans, and like he saves the day out of nowhere sometimes. All of a sudden, he just slices up the Titans and then slices their neck, and they go down. Oh, another thing I found really interesting is how the Titans regenerate, and the only way you can kill them is their neck.
Yes, that is very interesting.
But I love Levi because of how like calm and collected he is, but also just like in The Walking Dead, how some characters put on a mask and they're really internally dealing with something, but they don't let you see it. And I think in certain moments you can see Levi. How to say her name? Her name started with a P, but she got slammed up against a tree because of the female Titan. And the father was talking to Levi. Oh, I hope you looked after my daughter. And you could see him go like that. You know, you could see him. You could feel it internally that he was eating
Yeah.
himself up about it. Which I also love about the show is you feel through. I felt that emotion. You can feel the emotion, and this is anime.
There's
They're animated cartoons, and you can
right. There's an expression in everything called the feels. This show definitely gives you the feels all the way through it. So
Oh yeah, the feels. But I loved Levi. Although some parts it made me want to punch him in the head when he was beating up Aaron, but he did it to save him.
right at first, that was my first impression when they had that. I think that was like 12 or 13. That was like the midway point of the season when they had that happen. And I remember specifically saying, "Well, I don't like this guy. This guy's a butthole." And you're just sitting there over there laughing because obviously you can't give anything away, but you knew that my opinion would change as the show went on.
Yeah, I mean, I still when I watched that got angry, but then I was like, and honestly, I forgot how bloody that was when he was beating up Aaron. But then you know why he did it was so he doesn't get dissected or murdered, But also there were some characters that really drove me nuts, like with Levi's group. I understand their hatred and their pain because they've lost a lot of people, but also made me really aggravated, especially the one with like that buzz cut. I forgot his name. He was an older gentleman. There's parts where I'm like, I really hope you get eaten, but then he saves people, and then I was like, and then he died, and I actually felt very sorry for him. But there are certain characters that drove me crazy. It's like, I'm like, at the same time, I'm like, Aaron's still a teenage boy, and he has all this pressure on him, but I also can't blame you for being that way because, after so much pain and torture from the Titans and you losing so many people, you can't blame them.
Exactly.
I think that's where you wanted me to get at too, right?
Right, exactly. And I think to me, that's like I said in the very start, in the non spoiler part, to me, that is the most surprising thing about this show. It's just how good the acting is. I mean, my goodness, these are young, young actors, a lot of them. And you have better acting skills from them than half of the stuff you see on TV in America. And this is voiceover work. This is not even, like live action stuff.
Like
But
no
yet,
language barrier right here.
right, but yet you feel so into these people. It's just amazing. But I'm not speculate with you now. I want to talk about where you think season 2 is going. Like, what would you want to see happen? What do you think will happen? That kind of thing.
Annie is still in that crystal thing. So will we ever see her come out of it? Will, God forbid, the Colossal Titan or the Armor Titan come back? Will, obviously they'll have to rebuild. And obviously, where would they go after all of that? What other, can they try to get more information out of Annie? And also, they said at the end of it, they want to take Wall Maria. Is that how you say it? I'm sorry, I'm American.
Yeah.
I know when we say things, it kind of ruins the names of things, but they want to take back Wall Maria. So I think this season will focus on trying to take some of the walls back and trying to rebuild. But obviously, stuff is going to happen. Other than that,
Right.
Will we see Colossal Titan again? Probably. I think so, actually. We'll probably see more characters. I think we might get to see, not get to see, but like the characters who are the Colossal Titan and the Armor Titan will appear, but we just won't know yet. But what were you gonna say? Sorry.
I was gonna ask you because I think we both agreed this yesterday when watching, but I just want to confirm that you're all on the same line of thinking that I am. Do you think it's gonna be revealed that Annie and the other Colossal Titans, or not Colossal Titans, sorry, the other Titan shifters may or may not be working for a government. Like the government to me seems to know a lot more about the Titans and their motivations than the general public is aware of. To me.
There is answers to that and what their motivations are, but you won't see that until later on. Like what everybody's motivations is. I don't think that'll be in season 2, but you'll start to find out more as the series progresses in terms of like seasons. But yeah, no, there are motivations for why they attacked, and I think I'm pretty sure I read why, but I'm not going to say anything, and I don't fully know if that's true. But there is motivations, and Annie obviously has motivations too. And I also want to know more about her backstory because you got flashes.
Right. You saw that it has something to do with her father, but that's really all you got.
So what do you want to see, and what do you speculate on? Because you're a first-time viewer.
I want to see more of the same. I mean, the beauty of the show is never knowing what comes next. I want to sit down just like we did this time over the course of 2 or 3 days, marathon 25 episodes, and just be like more. Yes. And the only way that's going to happen is if they continue to do what they've already done. But the big thing for me though is that I think there needs to be clear, like, okay, either the government's in control of the Titan shifters, or I need answers as far as to why Annie went after Aaron specifically, or what the other Titan shifters do. Like, that's what I'm most looking forward to in terms of where the show is going. But
I also want to know more about the Titans.
In general, yeah. And what their motivations are. And particularly, why do they eat? Because if they don't eat for nourishment, do they just eat for sport? Because if they do, that's...
But then the answer is why.
You know? Yeah. It doesn't really flow or do anything that makes any sense. But I know you had... we have to wrap this up because...
Oh, I have a question for you.
I think you have to...
There's certain... I don't know how to say it, but there's called OVAs. And... they're kind of like little, like, not spin-offs, but like other indicators. Do you want me to tell you that, or do you want to see it? It's not really that long.
Well, I don't know. Do you think it would add to...
I think it would add to kind of it would add to the mystery of the Titans, to be honest.
Right.
So can I tell you?
Go ahead.
It's not a spoiler. It's anybody can go on YouTube and watch it. I was looking up Titan clips. I was craving more Titan stuff. So anyway, so there is this soldier who, I guess, I don't know what happens exactly, but she's out in she I think is out in the forest, and that's when she runs into a Titan, and she's journaling, you know, what she sees and experiencing. And this Titan is very strange in particular. It doesn't attack and kill her right away. Usually a Titan just grabs you and eats you, or it has weird destructive behavior. You've seen some of the Titans that were just randomly running like that, or they were just like this, or they were running on all fours. But this Titan was on 2 legs. It was a smaller Titan. It had blonde hair. It wasn't a Titan shifter. And this will make you go like that. It could talk.
What?
It made a sentence, and it said, I think it said her name, and it showed respect. And then, so that's what she was writing on. It had words with meaning. And then, all of a sudden it started freaking out and pulling its skin off. And then, you know, obviously, out of fear, he ran. But wait, before I tell you that, he was attempting to communicate with it. So she was like, you know, why do you attack and kill humans? What are you? What are your motivations? You know, and he didn't really answer. But then he started to really, he was going like that with his face, the Titan. And then and then he started to like freak out. Before he started to freak out, the soldier was like, you know, disgusting chunk of meat. Why do you eat us? And then he started to like freak out and stuff. And that's when he took off. And that's when he came back. And and that's when he went after him. He put him in his mouth, bit him, but didn't eat him, and he stored him in a tree. And he was kind of sat there like that, almost like grieving. And then Levi's group found him and read his thing. So that honestly adds more to the speculation. It's like, why do they kill us? If it is for bloodthirst, why?
Right.
Then it's like I was thinking, is he just like, was the Titan trying so bad to fight his instinct, but then had to give in, or like you know, is there something more to Titans? Like, I mean, that's they killed that Titan. They never took it in for experiment, obviously, because you know it was that would end the series if we found out the mystery to the Titans. But I was kind of like, that's really interesting. Can other them talk, or is that the only unique one? Because I don't even think really the Titan shifters can't even talk. So this one Titan could. And it's like,
and the other thing,
why didn't? And then what you see is the Titan runs after Levi's group, and then all of a sudden just runs away, has no interest, and goes back to the tree where he killed that soldier, almost as if he started banging his head against the tree, and so the soldiers were like, what the heck, you know? And so I don't know, is he almost grieving the loss of the soldier, or was he kind of like, he was like, why did I do that? Why did I give in? You know, what do you have to say?
well, to me, that just really does, as you said, add to the mystery of the Titans, because if there's Titans that will choose not to kill, why do they choose not to kill? When a lot of them obviously choose to kill.
So they all do, but he didn't choose to eat. Like, all Titans eat their victim.
Exactly, and this one can, and the speaking part too, adds just so much to it. Like, there's obviously different levels of intelligence for the Titans. Like, there's so much to this world. I don't think this world's going to be ending anytime soon, and I love it.
Me too. So we'll just end it here because we go hours on end. I'm sure we could do another video or something on Attack on Titan.
We could, and that's what I was gonna say. I'm pretty sure you all are gonna love this, but you know, I'll judge the feedback as I always do. But let us know in the comment section down below, or via social media, however you like to interact with me. And you should also throw Jamie into it too, as well, since she was a part of it. Let us know. Do you want us to do first watches for each of the seasons as each season ends, or if we go and read the manga at any point, should we do a video on that? You know, let us know how many of these Attack on Titan videos you want us to do. But just before I officially wrap it up, you said that you wanted to ask me questions. Did you get all the questions out that you wanted to ask me, or was there something else that you wanted to ask me?
No, I don't think so.
All right, cool. Well, we'll go ahead and wrap it up. So thank you so much, partner, for being a part of First Watch today. I enjoyed having you.
I like doing stuff like that. Not that I'm going to copy you, but I almost want to do kind of like other reaction stuff and talk about other shows. I mean, it will always be the main focus, but...
Oh, I've always said to you that I think you should do more stuff on YouTube. I mean, you don't have to stop being part of the wrestling community, but it's your channel, so you can...
You know what? I'm doing more vlogs. I did some Walking Dead stuff, and I did what's on my iPad and what's on my electronic devices, so definitely it's something different than I normally do. But yeah, I'm going to start doing a lot of stuff.
All right, so I'm going to wrap it up here, but I want you to stay tuned after the credits, because after the credits, I will reveal what Jamie and I are watching next, and that's all I'm going to say, because I literally want the comment section to explode with joy. So I'm literally going to just say the name of the show, get her to react, and then we're going to end it. So that'll be after the credits. So anything you want to plug as far as what you're doing or where people can find you and things like that?
Well, my YouTube is RotisserieiJamie. I'm sure he'll put all the links down below. I have a Twitter, a Facebook, an Instagram, a Snapchat. So everything is pretty much Jamie Loves Taker. The only thing that's not are my Instagram, which is Jamie Loves Undertaker, and then my Facebook is Jamie Calloway. I'm gonna do a lot of. I did one vlog. I'm gonna do more. People seem to actually really like the vlogs. I've had people asking me more if they're gonna do that. I'm going to do stuff on anime. I'm going to do stuff on The Walking Dead. I love The Walking Dead. I'm going to do Q&As. I'm going to do what's on my other electronic devices. So I kind of want to do something similar to this, but not necessarily doing first impressions, or maybe actually I do a lot of react stuff. So I might do just reacting to something for the first time. Like you physically see me reacting. So we'll see. We'll see.
A lot of great stuff.
Subscribe.
And she's one of my oldest friends, so if you all like me, you should love her because you know what my taste in people are. And this hat I'm wearing is a gift from her. So if you didn't know that, you can go back to my channel and you can find the Christmas package where I got this.
And I do haul videos too on certain stuff.
Yes, she does, and I know my viewers love those. So with that, we're out. As always, thank you to my financial supporters, Bird Odan and Gene. Your support is greatly appreciated. If you'd like to financially back the show yourself, private message me either on YouTube or social media to obtain my PayPal information. And as always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.
Oz is gonna watch The Walking Dead. Yay! Finally got him into it after all these years.